I'm gonna tell you 6 common mistakes that a lot of low content publishers do that can make your Amazon KDP account deleted, which means all of that time and effort you put on your books gone. And potentially Amazon can ban you from creating a new account. So pay attention to all of the things that I'm mentioning in this video. Before we start, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, let's dive into it. So I did a bit of research, and based on the messages I'm getting and the trend I see on the internet, there are 6 main reasons why Amazon terminates a KDP account. The first thing that unfortunately is very common and tons of publishers are doing is duplicate content. At first glance, this could be a really obvious thing, and you might say you already know you shouldn't be using some other books as interior for your book, but in reality the subject is more complicated than this. First, we have no content books like drawing notebooks that have no content and it's just a plain white page all through the book. In these kind of books, you can add small things like maybe page number, date, place, or some codes on each page to avoid duplication. It's also advised to include a couple of introductory pages at the beginning of the book. The second category is low content books, like coloring books. They're obviously more complicated. If you create your own designs, you're safe and secure. Just make sure you're not setting the same interior with different colors, since based on the Amazon guideline, this will consider bad customer experience and can result in termination. But what if you're using materials you downloaded or bought from someone else, like Creative Fabrica or Fiverr? Well, in these cases, make sure you mix and match and give your own touch to them to prevent getting flagged as duplicate. The last category is books with content, like a novel or non-fiction. In these kind of books, if you're using private label rights, also known as white label content, you need to rewrite and create a unique text based on that. You can't just copy and paste the content to a book. That will create bad customer experience, which Amazon hates. Okay, moving on to the second reason is using duplicate covers. Let's say you're creating a password logbook and you came across this book with a lot of reviews. It's obviously a successful book, and obviously customers like the cover and interior, or maybe the title and descriptions are really on point. So you decide to create a similar looking book with some changes. Like this author that obviously attempted to copy the interior and also the title and description. If your final design looks like this, with this much of similarity, it's just a matter of time to get that unwelcome email from Amazon. The problem is, if you run an ad on this book and bring it to the first page, now we have 2 very similar looking blog books, one $2 cheaper. So guess which one the customer will click on? Most likely the cheaper one. I also like to show you the section for covers on Amazon guidelines. As you can see, very clearly it states covers that may be misleading because they closely resemble another book's layout, color scheme, fonts, and or images aren't allowed. By the way, I'm gonna leave the link for this guideline in the description below. Make sure to check that out. So the first 2 reasons were mainly things that are under your control, and with a bit of research on Google, you can easily avoid them. But as we go further, things get more complicated and out of control. But don't worry about it, there is nothing that you can't handle. So make sure you give extra attention to the rest of them. Okay, back to the list. Next one is duplicate account. So this can happen on purpose, or believe it or not, it can also happen by accident. I'm gonna explain myself in a few seconds. Why would someone open a second account on purpose? Let's say for any reason your account was blocked and terminated by Amazon. If you try to open a new account to trick Amazon and it starts selling your book again, it's just a matter of time before Amazon catches the second account. So if for any reason your account was closed, don't try to open another one. There are plenty of other options out there to run your business and start fresh. Another example is when new authors think if you want to publish your book under a different author name, you need to make another account. So they will open a new account with a similar name or maybe a different one, and boom. In a few days, both of the accounts will be blocked due to duplicate account. Remember, you can use different pen names for your book. You only need one KDP account and never ever open a second account. While we're on the subject, if someone else, like maybe a friend or family member, asks you to open an account on their behalf, politely decline since it can cause closure and termination of your own account too. But how do you open a new account without knowing? Well, Amazon uses different tools to catch duplicate accounts. And one of the things they're looking for is multiple accounts from same IP address. So if you're in a dorm or in a shared house that multiple people have KDP accounts, your account might get flagged as duplicate. In these cases, if you did receive that email, make sure to explain this clearly to the Amazon to resolve the issue. Our fourth mistake is to take advantage of Amazon algorithm. If you've been in business long enough, you may already know that Amazon gives a small boost to newly published books during the first months of publishing to test its performance. So if you try to increase your sales by unpublishing and publishing your book multiple times to take advantage of the boost, you can expect a termination email from Amazon in your inbox any day. Amazon is changing and improving this algorithm to improve customer experience, so this feature can change or removed in near future. But in general, if you found a loophole in their system, don't try to exploit it. Okay, moving on, the next one is copyright infringement. Okay, this one is dead serious. If you try to make money out of others' intellectual property, not only will your account be closed, you may also face criminal charges. I don't like to sound scary, but be very cautious and smart about these things. And avoid using any brand logos, names, symbols, designs, or anything that's a copyright, patent, trademark, and trade secret at all costs. So if you're using a photo or material you downloaded from website, make sure they are not copyright or trademark and they are allowed for commercial usage. So the obvious ones are, for example, you can't name your book Disney Princess Coloring Book or put Baby Yoda on your cover. But there are times that copyright infringement is not that obvious. For example, if you're using a supposedly free image on your book, but in fact the image was a copyrighted image and you didn't know it. So if you're using an image from Pixels or Pixabay, make sure to search it on Google first to see if anyone else is selling the same photos license on a different website. If so, contact the owner and let them know about this. And don't use that image at your book unless you get the owner's consent. Alright, our last reason is when you use a famous name or misleading name for your pen name. Most of the time, Amazon will let you know on review process that you need to change it. But if they miss it somehow and the name is reported, your account can be banned. Let's say you use a famous athlete's name as your pen name and write a book about the sports. Some customer may buy the book just because they think the book was written by that famous person. So this can be considered a poor customer experience and can cause termination of your account. A smart thing is to make sure you research the name on Google before using it in KDP. Another example is when authors use a very similar name to their top competitors to increase their sales. The rule of thumb is to avoid anything that will be misunderstood as poor customer experience. And also remember, when it comes to publishing books on Amazon, there are rules that we need to follow. And since those rules are in place to protect authors like us, it's really important to make sure that you do stay up to date with the rules that Amazon has. The points that I mentioned in this video are not all the mistakes that can lead to your account being terminated. So because of that, I'm going to put some links down in the description for you that will go to Amazon terms and services. Now, if you're just getting started on Amazon low content publishing and you want to learn how to publish different types of low content books step by step, click into this playlist down in the description right now. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I see you next time. Bye bye.